You're listening to World of Empowerment Radio, your station for practical spirituality in a changing world. And here are your hosts, Aingeal Rose and Ahonu.
Every morning, Aingeal Rose comes out with the most profound statements and the most profound explanation of what's going on in the world, and an explanation of our reality that cuts through all the dross and the nonsense, and it's incisive and easy to understand. And I asked her this morning, while we were having our nice morning drink, how do you get out of history repeating itself? That was what the question was. Instead of just following through cycle after cycle after cycle and enduring the same old repeat of wars and destruction and cataclysms and having the whole thing go on over and over and over and over again. Golden age, dark age, light age, on infinitum. And here's what she said.
We were talking about why does history keep repeating itself? Because we had been discussing something that happened in ancient times with the ant people and having it repeat again a few years ago. We won't go into that right now, but we were talking about that as long as people have a linear way of thinking, linear being from past to present to future, and that's their reference point for everything, that you will always see history repeat itself. And I remember one time somebody asked a question in the Akashic Records about when will the world end? And Source said it will never end as long as people keep thinking from past to present to future, because they just keep recreating another future like the past over and over and over. And as long as they're doing that, it'll continue.
I remember somebody explaining that one time by way of, if you're driving at night, and you know how you can only see so far ahead of you with the lights, right? But as you progress forward, the lights are shining further ahead and further ahead and further ahead. So in that way, the future is like when you get there, it shines another light of more future, and it shines another light of more future and more future. So you keep recreating the future all the time. Is that what you mean?
That's what I mean. We can call that all programming. Let's do it under the heading of program, that our past to present to future linear way of thinking are just programs that are running, that keep repeating themselves, and that we refer back to. And then there's the authority problem that we all have, where we give our power over to authority figures. And then there's DNA blood mutations that have happened over the centuries. So how do you get all that? And Source has always told me that you have to go and get back to the moment. Remember one time, Ahonu, we made a key card called Time, that Source was dictating these series of cards that we were creating. One of them was called Time. No, one of them was called The Moment. That's what it was, The Moment.
And you're thinking of time because I think it was the image of a clock face.
Yeah, that you created.
Yeah.
It was the image of a clock face, that's right. But Source was saying that if we were in a true moment, we'd be in a constant state of bliss. And recently, this has come up again as well, because I made a meditation for people based on going inward into the true moment within ourselves. And it really did require that our attention be taken off the outer world entirely and focused inwardly, much like when people do when they meditate to find a place of peace. But there is a reality underneath the linear way of thinking. And that reality is a constant state of bliss. It's the deep connection to nature where miracles happen. It's the real flow of the universe, let's just say. And we're not in that. We're not connected to that because our minds are too busy projecting illusions out there. Illusions, what I mean by that is our perceptions of reality. We project outside ourselves by thinking in a linear fashion. We focus so much on the outer world and what kind of effect we're going to make. But the real reality happens internally. And that's where bliss is. That's where happiness is. That's where true transformation occurs. So you ask the question, will we ever see peace in the world? And Source would say, no, you're not going to see peace in the world as long as we're only thinking linearly and only creating more futures out of the past. We'll never break that pattern within us unless we deliberately practice. We have to practice because our minds are programmed. We have to practice taking your attention off all of the outer issues and go within. And the thing is, too, is whenever people take sides on an issue, it's really just the same thing. We ping pong back and forth from one extreme to the other, and this one believes this, another one believes that. This one's right, this one's wrong, this is wrong, this is right.
It's feeding into the pattern of past, present, and future.
It's because you're
continuing the saga of repeating cycles all over.
Yeah, because you're still in duality thinking.
Yes, you're perpetuating the guilt.
That's right.
Making somebody else guilty and therefore trying to absolve yourself of guilt by doing that and thereby perpetuating the whole thing.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned guilt because guilt really is, it's another topic, but it's a foundational one in terms of what's going on in this world. And we were talking yesterday about all the different things people post on Facebook since the pandemic, whether it's the coronavirus or it's George Floyd or it's black versus white or it's the cops. It's still all guilt. It's still all the projection of guilt onto the world. And as long as we're doing that, once again, you'll never reach peace. You'll never reach a true moment where harmony is actually, because you're always going to have somebody who opposes a conclusion somebody else comes to. I've read things like you're guilty if you don't wear a mask. You're guilty if you don't. It's insanity, really. And we spend so much of our energy. And I find, too, that when you actually do take your attention off that and refocus your attention internally and ask to find a true moment within you, that all this energy comes rushing back to you. The thing is you don't realize how much of your energy you lose by projecting it outside and why we don't feel centered and why we can't make a decision. We're just influenced. Let's just say we let ourselves be influenced by all kinds of opinions, and then we get confused and we say, and how many times have you said to me in the past month, you just don't know what's true anymore because you don't know who to believe. But I think the whole point is we're way off course, even putting our attention to things like this and making them issues and reinforcing the belief that people are guilty and not going inside. I think that's the main thing, is we don't go inside. And do you remember we started creating these meditations with friends every Saturday, but we did that because we're in Ireland and we're on a property that has a 5,000-year-old standing stone and it's feminine. And when we first arrived, we always go visit her. We call her Aria. And she told us that we've lost our connection to nature. And what she meant by that isn't that you go plant a garden or you do plant flowers. It's not what she means. She meant that there was a time in the ancient past when humanity and nature were one flow. Everything worked in harmony. And nature, as we well know from making our own water essences from sacred places, nature showed up for us in a crazy way. Places that we shouldn't have been into were places that were closed. Suddenly somebody would show up and hand us the keys and allow entrance. I mean, this happened over and over. So we had all these miracles happen from nature. And what she was explaining is we're not connected to it in that way. And I find that when I made the moment meditation to go in to find the true moment within you, that's what the flow of nature was as well. It was this cosmic flow that went through everything and ourselves.
I found a way to get into the moment too. And that happens when I look into your eyes and I find the whole cosmic flow just rushing into the moment and the blood flowing so fast and the excitement building and the moment is electric.
Oh, this is when he wants something, everybody. He wants a big Irish breakfast.
No, I'm trying to stay in the moment, excuse me. And I would suggest too that what I'm talking about is love. That if you feel the love, if any of you remember when you first felt you were in love, it was like as if that moment lasted forever. It's like a perpetual moment. It's like it's forever there. It's that flow that you called about come rushing into your whole body, your whole being. It's like you're rooted in that moment, and it's divine and it's everlasting and all of that. So I suggest look into your lover's eyes.
Oh, thank you, Ahonu. You're so beautiful. This is my Saturday morning discussion at Ahonu that he decided to capture on tape.
That's it for now. The moment.
Subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and on our website at worldofempowerment.com.
Don't miss an episode. Hit the subscribe button now.